So for the first time in many years, the Bank of England have increased the rate to 3.5%. And of course, the prime London property market has reacted. In fact, Property Industry Eye says that prime London property suffers from the drop in demand. And the National News says the price growth for prime London property sales to be wiped out by rocketing rates. So what's the reality of the 2023 London housing market? Now, what I find concerning, and also the buyers that we speak to day, is the combination of everything. It's the increase of house prices, the inflation, and the mortgage rates together. If that continues through 2023, then of course that buyer demand is going to start to slow down and have an impact on the overall prime London property market. So again, the question is, what is the reality of the 2023 prime London property market? And to get a sense of where we're going, we do need to look at the last 12 months and where we're at right now. So 2022 prime London property market, when it opened up pretty similar to 2021, which was concerns about the inflation, the mortgage rates, and just really buyer demand and seller demand. However, London has been very resilient and it ignored most of those concerns throughout the year. Until, of course, we had the political turmoil on the third quarter. And as a result, the first 3 quarters of 2022 were very strong. In fact, so during the first 3 quarters were much higher, 26% to 40%, and the level recorded in the 3 years prior to the pandemic. But unfortunately, the political turmoil of the third quarter did affect the market activity and buyer demand. The number of properties put under offer and sold fell back near to the low levels recorded in the 3 years leading to the pandemic. There was also an increase in fall-throughs and price reductions, and market readjusted to these conditions. It's still not clear if these conditions are going to continue throughout 2023. So I'm just curious, are you a homeowner wanting to buy but you're going to sit back and see what happens with mortgage rates and house prices? Or are you an active buyer who's just going to make the most of what the market has to offer? Leave me a comment below and let me know what your situation is. While prime London is less dependent on mortgages than other parts of the UK, it does have some effect, but not a huge impact. And clearly we can see this because buyer demand is still there. And let's not forget the prime London property market was quite tough leading up to the pandemic. We had the Brexit, we had the tax changes, and buyer demand was pretty low. It was not until the pandemic and we reopened at some point in 2020 that we had that boom in prime London. Average prices across prime London continued their recovery during 2022, and thanks to a 4.4% rise across the year, average achieved prices per square foot were just 1.4% below their previous 2015 peak. And the top end of the prime London property market was the strongest when it comes to activity. Although it only represents 8%, this is properties that are 5 million and above, this was the market that shows the strongest growth and the highest growth. Sales across all price bands were higher than their 2017-2019 average during the year, despite the fall in the final quarter. Now, properties between 1 million and 2 million markets saw 23% more sales in 2022 than 2017 and 2019 average, while the 2 million to 5 million recorded a 42% rise over the same period. But the highest price band, again, is the 5 million and above, was one that recorded the biggest increase, with sales in 2022 63% higher than the average of 2017 and 2019. Now, one of the key differences in the prime London property market during the pandemic has been the difference between houses and flats. Of course, houses have been more in demand because of the space, but of course because of the outside space it offers. But what we saw in the final quarter of 2022 is a flip of that. Flats are now more in demand than housing. That could be, of course, affordability, mortgage, inflation, and all of that coming into play. So it'll be interesting how that plays out for 2023. So that's my 2022 recap for the prime London property market. As we head into 2023, I will say a cautious optimism. And we see a flip between houses and flats. Flats now much more in demand, of course, because of the affordability of those. When it comes to mortgage rates, what I hear from my mortgage advisors is that we're going to see probably a peak of that at 4.5%. We'll probably see that towards the end of this year. And when it comes to the economy itself and inflation, probably see the peak of that as well, hopefully. And if you want to see the best performing areas in prime London, make sure you check out our videos. But in the meantime, if there's anything I can help you with, anything in prime London property, feel free to reach out.